So in today's video, I want to talk about the common excuses that I hear. And I just want to cross them out one by one. Because I hear a lot of excuses from a lot of guys. And I used to make a lot of excuses. As a former world champ at coming up with excuses, I know. I've been there. Sometimes when you come up with an excuse, it sounds so good. You're like, yes, who can argue with that? Who can come up with something to object to my excuse? What comeback? But I'm just here to cross them out and give you a reality check. Now, before I dive into it, if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe. Apparently, if you say subscribe down below, the YouTube icon flashes or something. So I'm testing this. I'm going to watch it later. Subscribe. Let's see if it did anything. Right. The first one is, the first bullshit excuse is, it's too saturated. I hear that all the time. Ali, I want to do this, but it's too saturated. Now, the reason that's a bullshit excuse is because there isn't another person like you out there. Your uniqueness is your advantage. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Your uniqueness is your advantage. It's your competitive edge. I'm in a space that's technically very saturated, right? There's a lot of channels out there dedicated to helping fellas improve. But I never let that deter me because I know my experience is unique. Do I claim to have all the answers? Absolutely not. And I make that clear on this channel. I'm still learning myself. I'm still a student of life. However, I do have a set of circumstances that I've learned a great deal from over the years that I believe will be beneficial to share. And so do you. You have, you know, your own circumstances, your own experiences that you can share that will be different to mine. There may be some crossover, but then the way you deliver the message, how you deliver it, that makes you stand out. So you're never truly a 100% replica of somebody else. Technically, music is saturated. Why don't people say, you can't be another rapper? There's already loads of rappers. Yeah, but there's always someone coming in with a slightly different approach to the game. Why don't they say that about footballers? There's already someone playing in that team. Why do you? Because there's always going to be someone coming into the game that will change things or do things a little bit differently. Right? And this is what keeps humanity progressing, is the fact that there's new people coming in with fresh ideas. Even companies. Why do they constantly recruit? Why don't they keep the same workforce for 40 years? Because sometimes someone else comes along who's better at the job. And you might be a whole lot better than a lot of the people out there that are making music or making YouTube videos. I'm not saying you're better to talk down about those people that are currently doing those things. No, but you just might be better at doing it. Your approach might be more favored by the marketplace, because the marketplace is what judges whether or not you're valuable. So get going. Don't be your worst enemy, man, and prevent yourself from starting just because you believe there's loads of people doing it. Tell yourself there isn't another motherfucker out there like me. I do things differently. And look, I know in the beginning when you have 0 subscribers, 0 followers, you don't have the evidence to support that you will be good. I appreciate that. I've been there. In the early stages, you're like, well, what if people don't receive what I say in a positive way? And this is why starting is a courageous thing, getting going, because you don't know what the outcome will be. You don't know what the feedback will be, but you've got to start. There's a saying, in order to be great, you must take the first step. Right? You got to get going. Otherwise, you'll never know. You'll forever be wondering, what if, what if? And I've spoken about this before. The most expensive place or the richest place in the world is the graveyard, because in the graveyard there were billion-dollar ideas that were never executed, songs that were never produced, cures for illnesses that were never developed. So many things were never done, were never created, because the people that were thinking of those things doubted themselves and prevented themselves from finding out. It's always a self-sabotaging activity. Now, yeah, look, you can do everything right and still fail, but at least you can respect yourself at the end of the day. And when I say you fail, you never really fail as long as you keep moving forward. Even if you did YouTube for 3 years and not a single person subscribed, which will be very strange, because you'll get at least one subscriber. But even if you don't, you can say, well, it was a great experience. I learned a lot. Maybe my strengths lie elsewhere. You make a slight adjustment and you move on. You haven't failed. You've learned a great deal. Every experience that you go through, fellas, teaches you something. It really does. I remember the days when I was cold calling. That was a very valuable experience. Very valuable. It improved the way that I spoke. I had to deliver my message across in 60 seconds or less in what was short of a perfect manner. Tonality had to be spot on. The pace of the conversation. I had to build rapport. I learned a great deal. I really did. Sales was, and still is, something that I work on, by the way. You know, I don't claim to be the best salesman in the world. I'm still improving. I'd like to think I'm a pretty good salesman. But every experience teaches you something. I had no clue how to edit or make videos in the early stages. And to be fair, even to this day, my videos are just all done in one take. But a lot of these things you learn along the way. You've got to be the kind of person to just pull the fucking trigger. Tell yourself, I'll learn as I go along. You don't need all the answers. If you knew how to create $1 billion business, you'd already have one right now. Or $1 million business, or a 6-figure business. You'd already have one right now. But you don't. So you've got to go out there, acquire the information, meet the right people. And things happen in such a way, the harder you work, the luckier you get. When you're out there in motion, people respect you. You know what? This motherfucker is consistent. Every time I open up YouTube, he's right there. I hope that's what you guys are saying about me. Right? But people appreciate consistency in whatever way it is. Wow, he's launched another clothing line. Wow, another song. Wow. People respect consistency. So keep creating. Eventually, things will pop off for you. And it doesn't happen in a linear way. It compounds. Things just start, whoa, this is coming up. This opportunity is coming. How did this all come together? The reason why all of this success is coming, and you deserve it. There's a quote that I shared on my story once on my Instagram. Do not be surprised when life starts to get good. You deserve it. All of that hard work that you've been putting in, it will compound. And before you know it, man, you will reap the rewards so majestically. The rewards will start coming in from different angles. Man, wow, this opportunity. Wow, this sponsorship. Wow. And you'll be like, man, I'm so glad that I worked hard. I knuckled down. I was detached from the outcome. I was just making sure that I perfect my work as much as possible. So keep at it. Eliminate this. It's saturated excuse. Believe in yourself, man. People that say that, people that say it's too saturated, have low self-esteem. Improve your self-esteem, man. There are people out there that wish to be like you. They may not compliment you and tell you, you know what, I really respect this about you, but there's a lot of people out there that fucking respect you, man, that are looking up to you. And sometimes you don't even know. It's nice for people to share it with you. But there are people out there that are looking up to you and they haven't said a single word. They just love watching you make move after move. Okay, so that's the first bullshit excuse. By the way, subscribe if you're enjoying this video. The second one is, it's easy for you to say, you know, I've had that before. Ali, it's easy for you to say we should speak like this. You speak amazingly well. And I'm like, hang on a second, son. Hold your horses. I didn't come out the womb in a suit speaking very well. That's not how it worked. First of all, English isn't even my first language. All right? So I wasn't born into a English family and, you know, it wasn't like that. However, I started to consciously improve my communication skills when I was like 19, 20. I wanted to be able to become a charismatic speaker because I realized that if you can communicate in such a way, people gravitate towards you, opportunities come your way. And so what did I do? I started working on it. In the same way that I would go to the gym and work on my physique, I decided to work on my communication. Okay, how can I communicate like this guy? Let me watch him closely. Remember, communication isn't just verbal, it's also non-verbal in how people use their body to communicate. So I was listening and watching closely. Okay, this person pauses here, does this, public speaking, he was walking around a stage, hand up, this, okay, nice. When he speaks, he pauses sometimes. Oh, that's interesting. Why is he pausing? Wow, okay. That's better than using filler words. Okay, that's good. I could learn that. Let me make a note of that. That's what I was doing. Over time, I improved. And eventually, it'll get to a point where people may say that to you. It's easy for you to say. I'm sure some of you guys who watch my videos are fucking hench. Good for you guys. Massive. Big fellas. I'm sure you guys have probably heard, oh man, you must be taking roids, man. It's easy for, you know, something along those lines. And it's, in a way, it's a backhanded compliment. Because, you know, oh, fucking hell, this person thinks I'm a steroid juicer. That means my body must be good. Right? And there's so many examples of what this could be. But you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere, man. My first suit was shit as well. And I learned about suits and how to wear them properly. So someone might look at me now and think, oh, this fucking posh fuck. Look at him with his suits. It's easy for him to say that we should do this. He's a fucking rich little boy, you know? And that's not the case. I didn't grow up in a rich family. Okay, but I like to present myself well because I feel good when I do present myself well. And I notice people appreciate that. And people gravitate towards me. I don't do it for people. I do it because it feels good when I do it. But I can't help but notice the benefits. Okay? So look, don't be saying, oh, it's easy for you. Improve. Don't sit on the sidelines. Well, it's easy for you. Improve. Get better. Get to the point where people can say that about you. All right? Another one. I don't have the time, Ali. I just don't have the time. Bullshit. You have the time. You're just not making the time for it. You're not prioritizing what it is that you want to do. It doesn't mean enough for you to schedule time out of the diary for it. I appreciate we all have to work jobs. Even us entrepreneurial guys who want to build a business, keep your job. Be sensible. Don't be reckless. Keep your job, pay the bills. And then after work, rest a little. And then make the time for it. Sit down and be like, right, I've got between 7 and 9 to work on this business. Let me do some research. Let me do this, that. Let me get the business in motion. Take steps towards it. That's what you got. You got to block out time for it. Consciously block out the time. I got to do it. This means a lot to me. Some of you guys are motivated by, you know, the financial rewards and the things that you'll be able to buy. For other people, including myself, it's the pain of being in an environment that doesn't appreciate me, an environment that underpays me, an environment where I'm not in control, i.e. being somebody else's employee. I'll always give a job 110%, always. And I've spoken about this before. You know, go above and beyond, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So put in a solid shift at work. I mean, there's a saying, if you do more than what you are paid for, you will one day be paid for more than what you do. So it becomes a part of who you are in your DNA. Go above and beyond. But I'm motivated more by the pain of staying the same. And look, I've said this before. You don't really stay the same. You get worse. So I don't want to be in a position where I get worse year on year. I want to keep improving. And I don't want to feel like I'm complaining year in, year out. Because if you're still complaining now, that means you haven't addressed your shortcomings. If you're still complaining, if you were complaining in 2022 and 2021 and 2020, and you're now still complaining, that means you haven't addressed what's bothering you. I get it sometimes in my comment section. Ali, I'm frustrated, man. What shall I do? Write down what it is that you're frustrated with. Is it your lack of income? Is it your fucking weight? Write it down. I don't know your situation unless I speak to you in a one-on-one coaching call. And if you want to speak to me, link down below. But write it down. Get clear, because you can't fix what you're not aware of. If there was a damaged pipe somewhere in my house and I was unaware of it, I can't fix it. It's only when I see, oh shit, there's water everywhere, that I can fix it. Now, you might have warning signs. You know, you might be looking at yourself in the mirror now thinking, fuck it now, look at those love handles, my fucking tits are hanging out. That's a warning sign right there. That's telling you, yo, you big motherfucker, address this. That was the case for me in 2022 November. I was a fat bastard, 28% body fat. Now, I say I was a fat bastard. Someone might say, well, Ali, you weren't. To me, I was. I let my standards drop, and I allowed myself to get worse, to deteriorate. And I didn't want that. So I told myself, let's fucking knuckle down. Okay, so get crystal clear and prioritize the time. Tell yourself, this time is holy for me. I cannot waste it. And you must be willing to sacrifice. I've spoken about sacrifice before. Tell your friends, I'd love to come out, but I can't come out as often. I've got something that I'm working on. Don't feel guilty for saying no, fellas. I know some of you care about your friends and your social life, and that's great. You know, however, I don't want you to feel guilty for saying to your friends, I can't come out today. You're a grown man now. Set the standards. Set your boundaries. Say, listen, today I can't. Maybe over the weekend we'll catch up, grab some coffee, whatever. Today I can't. And if they get really angry and everything, then what does that say about them? Right? So make the time for it. And I just want to say this, fellas. For those of you that are still and ahhing about something that you want to do, the time is going to go by anyways. The time is going to go by anyways. 3 years from now, it will be 2026. Imagine the end of October 2026. Just imagine for a second. Pause with me here. 2026, October time. Where will your life be? Are you still going to be frustrated, complaining, somewhere that you're not appreciated, working in an environment where you're underpaid, still fat as fuck? Is that how you want it? Or do you want to look back and be like, wow, man, the last 3 years have been incredible. The good news is you can change. You are not a tree, you can move. You can decide today, I don't want to live like this anymore. Enough is enough. My life going forward will be fantastic because I will make sure of it. I deserve a good life and I will do everything in my power to ensure that I live a great life. I refuse to be a victim of my circumstances. I refuse to feel sorry for myself. I'm not a fucking child. I'm a grown man. I'm going to change things. Because I'm going to change. Make the time for it. Quit procrastinating. The time is moving. Time is ticking. And remember what I always say, fellas. Time will either promote you or expose you. Either you will reap the rewards of your labor or you will be exposed for being fraudulent, for being a lazy fuck. You talk a load of game, you talk left and you walk right. You don't follow through. Is that how you want to be known? Is that how you want to see yourself when you look in the mirror, as a fraudulent motherfucker who doesn't back up what he says? A man whose wife doesn't respect him? Who talks a load of smack to his friends about what he's going to do and he never does it? Is that how you want to be known? If not, then do something about it. Follow through. Who gives a fuck if you fall down and you make mistakes, you lose a bit of money? You learn. You can respect yourself at the end of the day. I did things. I didn't just sit on my ass whinging. Oh, it's easy for him to say, he's this, he's that. He's got more time than me. He doesn't. Everybody has 24 fucking hours in a day. How you use them will determine whether you succeed or not. Now, you're not starting from the same point in most cases. Someone might be ahead of you. But this is why it's so important not to compare and contrast. Comparison is the thief of joy. Stop looking over the fence. Well, he's got, stay in your lane. Focus on you. Your set of circumstances are unique. That person's circumstances are unique. You don't know what you're competing against. There's no point competing with them. Compete with yourself, with who you were yesterday. Ensure that year on year you're getting better. And on that note, thanks for watching this video. Remember, reasons or results. Make sure you like and subscribe. It should flash hopefully down below. And I'll catch you boys in the next one. Peace.